Michael B. Jordan was just trying to enjoy a peaceful Saturday afternoon, the kind where the sun hit just right and the rhythm of the basketball bouncing on the asphalt set the tone for the weekend. He was at a local park in LA, wearing a simple hoodie and gym shorts, blending in with the other guys on the court, laughing, trash-talking playfully, throwing up fadeaways and catching rebounds like it was his second job. No cameras, no entourage, just him and the game. That's when it happened. Out of nowhere, a wave of police sirens broke through the laughter and squeaks of sneakers. He glanced toward the street, squinting into the sunlight. One cop car, then another, then three more, lights flashing, doors flying open. Officers jumping out with urgency in their step, voices already raised, walkies crackling with coded words. But Michael didn't flinch at first. Why would he? He wasn't doing anything wrong. He wasn't even standing out. Maybe they were chasing someone else, someone in the area. He dribbled again, made a pass, and kept playing. But then he saw it. They were running toward him, not just one or two, a whole group of them. Heavy boots thundering across the concrete, shouts growing louder. Michael froze mid-dribble, confused, adrenaline suddenly kicking in. His eyes darted around. Was there someone behind him? Another player? He turned his head just as two of the officers shouted something indistinct. Then one grabbed his shoulder, the other twisted his arm, and before he could even fully register what was happening, his body was yanked back and slammed to the ground. Gasps exploded from the people around. "Yo, what are you doing?" One of the other players yelled. "That's Michael B. Jordan." But the cops didn't stop. One knee pressed hard against Michael's back, another officer digging through his pockets. Michael's face scraped the pavement as he shouted, "Stop! What are you doing? I didn't do anything." One cop barked, "Stay down! Don't resist!" And Michael shouted again, his voice strained, trying to stay calm but the fear creeping in. "I'm not resisting. I'm not. What is this?" Another officer chimed in coldly, "We got our guy." "You match the description. You're under arrest for armed robbery." His brain froze. Robbery. Him? He wasn't even near a store. He was here, playing ball in front of a dozen people. "I didn't rob anyone," he yelled, trying to turn his head, but a rough hand forced it back down. "I'm Michael B. Jordan. I'm an actor," he pleaded. The officers ignored him. People nearby began filming with their phones. Shouts and confusion filled the court. A couple of players tried to step forward but were warned to stay back. In that moment, all the cameras, the red carpets, the awards, none of it mattered. He was just a man pinned to the ground by strangers who were convinced he was someone else. And the worst part, he could see it in their eyes. They weren't listening. But something's off here. Something deeper. Something no one saw coming. Just wait. This story's about to take a turn you won't believe. Michael's voice cracked through the chaos as he shouted, "Stop! What are you doing?" But the officers didn't flinch. They tightened their grip, dragging him up off the pavement with force that felt less like a mistake and more like something personal. "You're the guy," one of them hissed. "You're the one who robbed that place last week. We've got you now." The words hit Michael like a punch to the gut. "Robbed? What?" No, you've got the wrong person," he protested, his wrists burning in the metal cuffs. "I didn't rob anyone. I was playing basketball." Another cop pushed him forward roughly. "Yeah? Tell it to the judge. Big man like you thought you'd get away with it?" Michael's chest tightened. He tried to turn his head, to look one of them in the eye, to make them see him. "I'm not who you think I am. My name is Michael B. Jordan. I'm an actor." But that only made them laugh, a cold, mocking kind of laugh. "Yeah, sure you are," one of them said, "and I'm Denzel Washington." Another added, "Man, they all say that. Every time. I'm famous, I'm rich, I'm innocent." "Just shut up before it gets worse for you." Michael's heart was pounding now, not just from fear, but from disbelief. This wasn't happening, not to him, not here. His mind was racing, searching for logic in a situation that had none. They pulled him toward the street, past the stunned basketball players who stood frozen, phones still recording, mouths half open. A kid yelled, "That's really him, man. That's Michael B. Jordan." But the cops didn't care. One officer shouted back, "Back off or you'll get arrested too." Michael stumbled as they pushed him toward a black and white cruiser, still struggling to make them see. Look me up, Google me. I'm not the guy you're looking for. I've never even been near a robbery. His voice was louder now, angrier, desperate, the kind of voice that didn't come from ego, it came from panic. But they ignored him. They shoved him toward the back seat of the car like he was nothing. And that's when something shifted. One of the younger officers, maybe late 20s, standing a bit behind the others, narrowed his eyes. He hadn't said much the whole time, just watching, listening. Now he stepped closer, tilting his head as he got a better look at Michael. Something about the way he moved made the others pause for half a second. "Wait," the young cop said, almost to himself. Then louder, "Wait, hold up. I know this guy." The other officers turned to him, annoyed. "Yeah, we know who he is. Big-time thief. Got the call this morning." But the young officer didn't look convinced. He moved in, squinted, like his mind was trying to catch up with something it almost recognized. No, I know him from somewhere else. Hold on, just hold on." He pulled out his phone, tapped something quickly, his brow furrowing deeper with each second. The other cops were getting irritated now. "What are you doing, man?" one of them snapped. "We got our perp, stop wasting time." But the young officer didn't even answer. His eyes were locked on the screen, and then they widened. Just a little, barely perceptible. But it was enough. "Oh my God," he said. Guys, this is Michael B. Jordan." The Michael B. Jordan. He's not a suspect. He's a freaking actor. Look, he held out his phone, showing a picture from the internet. One of Michael on the red carpet, same face, same jawline, same unmistakable intensity in the eyes. Silence hit like a wave. One by one, the other officers peered at the screen. Their expressions slowly began to change, from hard certainty to confusion to unease to something closer to horror. Michael stood there, breathing hard, eyes red with anger and disbelief. He didn't say anything. He didn't have to. The silence said it all. And here's the thing, this is where the real story starts. Because what happens next will flip everything you think you know about how this ends. Just wait, this isn't the twist, not yet. But it's coming. And it's worth every second. The older officers stared at the young cop like he'd just spoken a different language. One of them stepped forward, his brows furrowed deep with skepticism, and said, "How do you know him? Just because you saw a picture doesn't mean it's not an act. You don't think con men know how to look like celebrities?" The younger officer held up the phone again, more firmly this time, zooming in. "I know it's him. This is Michael B. Jordan. He starred in Creed, in Black Panther, in everything. He's not just some actor from a commercial. He's one of the biggest stars in the world. We messed up." Another cop scoffed. "So what? Even famous people can commit crimes." But that last sentence didn't carry the same weight anymore. It felt weak, like it was grasping at something already unraveling. The young officer took a step toward Michael, his voice quieter but firm. "Sir, I'm sorry, I think there's been a serious mistake." The moment cracked wide open. The rest of the cops crowded around the phone, fingers swiping through articles, photos, red carpet events, interviews. The realization dawned in pieces, slowly, then all at once. They looked up at the man standing in cuffs, still breathing heavily, still stunned by what just happened. One officer muttered under his breath, "It is him." Another whispered, "No way." The leader of the group turned to the younger cop, irritation melting into disbelief. "Why didn't anybody tell us he lived around here?" The young one shrugged. "He doesn't. He's just here playing ball. He's not even from this part of town. It's a public court." That silence came back, thicker now, heavier, and then finally someone moved. The oldest cop in the group stepped forward and unlocked the handcuffs, gently, like he knew he couldn't erase what had already happened, but was trying to undo at least something. Michael winced as the metal came off, rubbing his wrists without saying a word. The air was tight, like it had stopped moving. Then the apologies started, not just one, but a wave. "We're sorry, sir. It was a mix-up. We thought it was the description. It matched too closely. We didn't realize." But Michael just stood there, quiet, exhausted more than angry. When he finally spoke, it wasn't with rage. It was calm, measured, and deeply human. "I get it. Mistakes happen. But that was a rough one." One of the officers stepped forward, guilt etched across his face. "Please let us make it right. Anything you need, Press charges, compensation, we'll file an internal review. But Michael cut him off with a small shake of his head. Number, I don't want anything. I just want to go back to my game. The officer blinked. Are you sure? Michael nodded. Yeah, I'm sure. It's not about money, just do better next time. And with that, he turned and walked slowly back toward the court. The players were still there, still watching, still silent.